Have you ever bought a gorgeous succulent, took it home, only for it to die after a few weeks or change into this thin, colorless stick? If you have, please pause and comment below. It would be interesting to read some of your experiences. Please don't be ashamed to fess up, as you are far from alone. I have also killed my fair share and I own a plant nursery. But I also have many other stories from my customers. Succulents dying indoors is one of the main complaints I get, and so I want to shed some light on why this happens. In this video, I'll talk about the main reasons why succulents die when grown inside. In my opinion, this is the number one reason most succulents struggle so much inside, sometimes even if they are on a windowsill. Although succulents that survive indoors fairly well do exist, most types much prefer the outdoors and lots of bright light. If you want to know which succulents are usually good indoors, I've linked a video that will give you a few names. I know there are people out there who grow a good variety of succulents in their home. It certainly is possible, but you'll need a super duper bright spot for them to thrive. Based on my experience, the majority of the time, succulents won't work well indoors unless you have grow lights. Having lights will also help greatly if you close your curtains when you leave the house. White full spectrum grow lights between 3,000 to 6,000 Kelvin should do the trick. This may very well depend on where you live and how well your house is built or ventilated. For instance, here in Australia, it is not uncommon at all to have very cold and very humid houses due to poor building standards. I don't think I've lived in a house here where I wouldn't have to fight mold over winter or during La Nina when it rains more than usual. And where mold can start, other fungal disease will thrive. Succulents are prone to a whole lot of them, so this can very much be an issue. I cannot tell you how many people say to me their succulents have rotted inside despite not being watered or only watered sparingly. Fungal disease can and will take hold if the air is humid enough. Succulents also store lots of water, so once fungus starts growing and taps into that water, very little can be done to stop it. Even if you have a dry house and grow succulents in the bathroom, you may come across this issue. Some succulents, such as ripsalis, will not mind as they are grown in rainforests, but others might really struggle. If your house is nice and dry and warm, well, lucky you. It is unlikely you'll have this problem. Again, this may not be an issue for absolutely everyone, but in general, water does not evaporate as fast indoors as it does outside. As a result, it can be quite easy to overwater, especially if you have a pot with no drainage hole. I would very much suggest to keep an eye out and only water when the potting mix looks dry. On the other side of the spectrum, hydrophobic mix can absolutely be a problem if you water very little and leave your succulents dry for months. Many succulents will somewhat tolerate this, but they may just look shriveled and a bit sad. When potting mix turns hydrophobic, as the name suggests, it will repel water and just run out of the pot. It can, however, be fixed by submerging the pot in a bigger container full of water for a few minutes. If your indoor succulent looks all shriveled and wrinkly, it is likely it's just super thirsty due to hydrophobic potting mix. Over time, plants like this can die. If you think pests cannot become a problem indoors, you'd be very wrong. Tiny buggers such as mealybugs, aphids and scale can decimate your plants. They are very small and can be brought in on your clothes, in potting mix and on new plants. During peak aphid season, I often find winged aphids in my dog's fur. They can hitchhike on anything. And because they will not have any predators indoors, they can thrive. Inspecting your indoor plants between the leaves and in hard to see spots every now and again can be really helpful and nip any infestations in the bud. Also, familiarize yourself with what these pests look like in different stages of their life. And that's all! I hope this was useful, thank you so much for watching and see you next time!